mid-level who is a whole slew of people.
In Germany, there were a lot of chamber music series, even in Frankfurt and Heidelberg, and you heard all kinds. And now that I think about it, I think bowing things again are something that was missing.
Okay, then would that also be? Remember when we were in Frankfurt and we saw the
we saw the I don't know if you saw the Emerson. I saw the Emerson, and they're one of the best quartets around.
I was going to mention something else. When they do the Tchaikovsky Fourth Symphony and the third movement is all the pizzicato.
Okay.
So when they did that, when we were in Frankfurt and we were up at the castle in that outside place and they were doing that, you said that they didn't have the when you do that pizzicato, you gotta have the ring afterwards because you do vibrato or something?
Yeah, you do vibrato with it to get it to ring. Yeah.
Would that be considered a bowing thing then?
Not really, because you're not using the bow. That's a technical thing.
Isn't bowing a technical
thing? But it's two different things. One's the right hand, one's the left hand. So, I mean, they're two different things. Right. They're not the same.
Well, I'm not a string player.
I know. That's why I'm telling you this. These things make a difference. And bowing, they talk about the different styles of music. And like I was hearing on that one show that they're listening to the
Face the Music?
Yes, they were listening to some, what was that, Debussy, I guess the last movement there. And one guy was critical and the others weren't. Well, the thing was that the bowing in French music is even different to get that kind of ethereal sound. And if you bow too hard, it doesn't sound like Debussy. It doesn't sound like a French music. And a lot of orchestras and a lot of groups don't play French music well because they play like Mozart or something, and it's not. It's a whole other style, and part of that is the bowing. And people don't, even the conductors don't talk about that a lot. They might say everybody do it, up bow or down bow or something, but that is really important, and it's the styles. There's different styles of bowing, and that's what makes the styles of music, because the fingers have to be solid, but the bowing has all these different styles of use to get the different styles of the music.
Okay, so who is good at teaching the bowing?
I don't know. It's like...
Okay, so then did you learn your bowing from your Beloff dude?
Some of it I did. Some of it I did. Some of it I did. Some of it I had the facility, and as you play chamber music, that's what I'm saying. String players, I think, like to play chamber music. I mean, everywhere I've ever been, you just love to play it. But as you play it, and of course you study chamber music if you're in a good school, Miami and New England, both you have chamber music studies, and you have chamber music concerts, and you have these people giving you coaching, these great musicians, and so they teach you some of these things too. I suppose that's where you learn it. But as you play more in chamber music, you start hearing these things, I guess, and then you start learning and you start trying to do it. I like to have contests, right? So I always, with myself, it's either trying to play every note exactly right, which I don't know if everybody tries to do that. Some people just slop along. But I also like to practice bowing, and I used to do things backwards, make it harder and things like that to learn.
You and Daddy are like the same, because he used to do... Well, every time I talked to him about his playing, he said he would do things backwards to make it hard so that he could...
To learn. I mean, how do you learn that facility if you don't make yourself little tests to do it, So I used to do that. And actually, sometimes my stand partners would say, look what she's doing, doing something for fun, opposite. So I don't know, but that's how you learn. And the thing is that everywhere that I've been, pretty much, people love to get together and play chamber music. That didn't happen in Venezuela, but it did in these other orchestras.
Well, because you guys just sat having cafe au lait.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, but I still think that not everyone does, because I still think
maybe
that's a you thing, because you're so into chamber music.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I'm saying that when you listen to music, what's your first choice of music to listen to?
Chamber music.
Okay,
yes.
I rest my case.
Depends. Sometimes it's smaller. I don't know.
Okay, fine.
You know, it depends.
All right. So anyway, so we had a great time at this concert.
It was
because
great.
it was a great group.
It was
Pacifica
really,
group.
really good.
And
yes.
so they're taking over the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Yeah, from the Candlelight Quartet, who's retired now, and they were good. Is
that the one that was here at College Park too?
Yes,
oh,
right. Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was. I wasn't sure.
Something else I was going to say about instruments.
Because you didn't like the first violinist.
Okay.
Instrument.
Right, instrument.
You said it was too dry.
Yeah, okay, but wait a minute.
Okay.
Instruments, if you're really going to have a good quartet, you really have to think about having matching instruments. And it's like the one fault I felt was that. And I was thinking here at the Smithsonian, they have a match set of Stradivarius instruments. And the Juilliard Quartet used to play it. And occasionally, I mean, every year somebody plays it in a concert. Unfortunately, we haven't heard that. But I've heard them on records playing that. And what a difference when you get matched instruments. And that's something that, you know, because everybody has a different sound in their head or a different pocketbook that they can get a decent instrument. Sometimes these things aren't matched too well. But like that Emerson Quartet is really, really good. They have a really full sound that's matched, I think, and the quality fits together really well.
Because of the instrument.
Part of it, yeah, a lot of it is. And a lot of these other quartets that I heard in Germany they weren't matched. And I think part of it was their instruments. They were different quality instruments. You know, because a German or instrument is different than an Italian. A French instrument has a different sound.
So you thought
does
that
an
this
English
first
one.
violinist was German?
Well, German or English. It had that kind of guttural sound, almost a wooden, not in the bright
you mentioned
though.
Joshua Bell's.
Yeah,
his is brighter.
His is brighter, and it just
like that?
It rings out just like that cello rang out.
Right.
And that hers didn't ring out. I was listening again after intermission. I mean, she played great, but it didn't ring out.
Okay, after you mentioned that, I was listening to, and I would agree with it, especially on the soft parts and some of her vibrato sometimes in the slow in that last quartet. It was a little slow. So, I mean,
they make it different.
Okay, fine, but in that one part, she was a little bit slower than the second violinist, and the cellist I thought was pretty much always more of a singer's vibrato. You know, it's an even quicker. But anyways, so then I would agree that it didn't ring out quite as much.
Right.
It's a little bit more hollow sound.
Yeah. See, those things in an orchestra, you don't hear them because,
right.
I mean, usually the concertmasters always have good instruments, so that's not a problem. But anyway, that is one thing to think about when you're listening to chamber music. If there's something you don't like, maybe it's the quality of the instruments, not the playing, but the
people
quality.
don't bring that up much, but and that's true. I mean, because that's true of singers. I mean, some people have better quality voices.
Yes. In any instrument. I mean, even you wouldn't think like oboes or clarinets, but they do. Some of them have like the French style of playing is the French instruments. I think they're much reedier and high. I don't know, a strange kind of reedy style.
All right.
Anyway,
so
we're almost
we had a
over
great
with,
concert. Thank you, Pacifica. We had a great time.
Yeah, it was great.
And we had the Vamos connection, which was hilarious. But anyway, so there's music. You know, everyone in music kind of gets related somewhere. So there you go.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
This is Kathleen
and Charlene.
And we're going to be back
signing
discussing more because we always have something going on.
We'll be going to another Beethoven one in a couple months.
And a couple other concerts and still the opera stuff. So
yes, that's right.
All
right. Good night.
Bye.